Episode 34 of Out of the Box podcast. This week, we are just back from Easter. Yesterday, we had a staff social. So it was our second staff social of the year. The first one was bowling. This one was escape rooms, and it was a ton of fun. We did these ones down on Boucher Road, if you know Belfast, that's where it is. It's like 35 rooms, and you have to try and escape out of them. It took 2 hours, and we did 2 teams. A lot of people dropped out, like second holidays, I guess. But yeah, still 2 teams of 4. It was great crack, and it was just like a nice night. Everyone gets along so well, and I think we're going to keep doing these like every 2 months, maybe every quarter. Not too sure on when but it was all organised by Aaron, so that was great. And then also this week I've already recorded another podcast which will go out next week. It's with David from Openly. He is the founder of a super cool business, co-founder with Kieran, and we basically talked about marketing funnels because they are a SaaS company, and we compared it to e-commerce. So that's also a really interesting one, and is really just if you're a marketer, probably it's cool. But this week I want to talk about, so we brought Sam on board, who's our new content creator. So he's responsible for all video and static that goes live on our Instagram, TikTok and Facebook that is not paid advertisements. His background is he is a content creator / freestyler within the football niche, so he's a lot of experience. He is new to our team maybe 3 weeks ago now, and since he's came in, I haven't put too much time or effort into like kind of setting goals and what expectations are. Now obviously that was discussed pre him joining, so this week I've been doing a little bit more effort on that. And when people join, I like to do what essentially are 6-month goals and then 12-month goals, and really show them the progression they can move over the next period of time. And I try to tie those goals into the company objectives too. So I got those across. And then also I want to touch on this. So he is on commission, similar to all our creatives. All our creatives are on commission. So his work's slightly different because ad creators, creative strategists get paid commission on winning ads. He gets paid commission on organic revenue driven above the base level that we were previous to him joining. The idea is with people on creatives, and this is really where my mind is at, is that creatives are the new salespeople of the modern day. So previously, salespeople used to go door to door, and still do some aspect, like Ross, our B2B guy. For the claw machines, he goes door to door. Not quite, but similar. And so creatives with Facebook ads are similar, and so they should be rewarded similar. They should be rewarded for good performance rather than base pay. And so this is something I've implemented at the start of the year, and so now Sam is on something similar. And it removes friction, I think, between, oh, the business is doing well, but I'm not getting compensated, and then that time lag between you increasing their pay and their good performance. Because often it's either you justify the good performance to get the pay, which is kind of what we do with everyone else in the company, or you give somebody the pay and then go, okay, you do the performance. And especially with creatives, I feel like there was a disconnect there. Yeah, commission is what we do with them. It can be good commission if you're really good at your job, but also if you're not pulling your weight, then you don't get any commission. So it is pretty much you eat what you kill. Then with the machines, I touched on then Ross there, we've hit our first hurdle. So we got a legal complaint this week, and it scared a few people. When I read it, I was like, oh, I've encountered these problems before, and the problem is very kind of transferable to other businesses and other projects. Normally you hit this hurdle, and it's often somebody who's been established in the industry, and they're trying to basically shit on you, and they don't want to see you succeed because it makes them lose money. They don't see it from a positive point of view. Often it's like people who are like 40s, 50s, 60s, who've been in the industry like 20, 30 years, and they see someone new coming in, they can't be bothered like keeping up with the pace of change, and so they're just like shut that down and kind of are negative. So we got that through this week. For the first wee while there was a few panicking heads, but I knew we would find a resolution to it. We always kind of find resolutions to this stuff, and so very quickly, not even 48 hours later, we got legal advice, and we're now on the road to solution. But it reminded me a lot of when we filed for our logo as a trademark, and we were getting shit on back then by somebody else, and there's many such instances along the way. I want to touch on one more thing with that. When people are kind of creating something new and they're breaking barriers with an industry like we are with the machines, you will encounter resistance, and you need to be resilient to that. I think a lot of people aren't resilient enough to this, and so when the moment comes, they just fold and break. We didn't fold and break. We found a solution within 48 hours, and now it's getting implemented, and for us nothing has changed. we just keep on chugging along. So I think that's what separates kind of the good from the great. One of the many things, of course. Going to test marketing now. So as you guys know, I love talking about media buying. I don't think it's one of the most high leverage things, to be fair. I think building systems and good people is, but technically speaking, it is pretty high leverage. We run lowest cost, highest volume. I want us to move now, I think, to cost caps. So normally when it comes to, say, Black Friday, say World Cup promotions, we always run cost caps because it's hard to tell what demand will be and give a budget. So if you give cost caps, you say the campaign's at 25 or 28 or 40 or 50, and then you just let it spend. And that way Meta can kind of assume the demand for you. Well, that's how I used to run the account near all cost caps for about a year, until last March when I flipped to lowest volume. We got way more pace through the account. However, now we're just trying to hit forecast. We're not trying to scale per se too much. I feel like cost caps might be better because sometimes we have to go in and manually adjust what the budget is per day. So if the campaign's not performing good this week, we'll maybe scale it down. And if we're looking like we're not going to hit, say, CPA targets for the month and budget spend for the month, then we'll move it about. But I think because we have now a good stock position, a good cash flow position, we could maybe play about with cost caps a bit more. And I was also looking at testing and spend. So this month we spent in the UK £6,000 on ad sets. So we run ABO when testing that weren't winners. So when we launch ad sets, they normally test at like £50 per day. Maybe there's like 5-6 ads within an ad set. So that's £6,000 on ads that lost. In the US, it was $3,000 US dollars. So that's near £10,000, not even 10,000 USD, definitely, that we spent on losing ads. And if we ran cost cap as a test, in theory, only the winners would come through. Now that is in theory because sometimes you get overspend, but I think it could be the strategy. And we're at this time of year where I like to test things. We're maybe, 2.5 months outside of peak World Cup, so we can play about with these things. So I'm minded to give this a test. So for Monday, we'll be testing it on 2 weeks, and I'll report back and let you know how it goes. Probably do an episode on that. I think it's a way to get more efficient with our spend. Anyway, very quick one. Thanks all for watching. Next week should be the David episode, and that should be really good value. I've also got another banger coming up. It's going to be the Christmas market one, where I break down all the costs, and I will also share roughly what profit will be, which might shoot me in the foot or might not. But it was requested, so I shall do it. Thanks all for watching, and I'll see you next week.